Guys, this movie only had one job. One job, and that was to be better than its predecessor. And it couldn't even do that right. Guys, welcome to my review of The Amazing Spider-Man 2. Everybody says it sucks. It does. Let's talk about why it doesn't work. Peter Parker, once again played by Andrew Garfield, is now embracing his new role as a hero, being more confident in his powers as Spider-Man, and he spends time with Gwen Stacy, played once again by Emma Stone, in between protecting New York from criminals. But his greatest battle yet is about to begin. With the emergence of Electro, played by Jamie Foxx, Peter must confront an enemy far more powerful than he is, and then when his old friend Harry Osborn, played by Dane DeHaan, returns, Peter comes to realize that all of his enemies have one thing in common: Oscorp. Yeah, so before I get into any further detail about this movie, thank you guys so much for clicking on this thumbnail. I really do hope you enjoy your stay. This is gonna be some catharsis here, because just going through that synopsis with you guys, you're already seeing the big problem with this film. There is way too fucking much going on. This story is way too unfocused, and it is not at all concerned with making a good movie standalone by itself. The movie and the studio were so convinced that this was gonna be the big setup for their brand new universe that they were establishing with Spider-Man. You know, outside of the MCU, which not too long before this released Captain America: The Winter Soldier, which is not a bad movie whatsoever, but The Amazing Spider-Man 2 was so focused on setting one thing up and one thing only. That being the Sinister Six. Remember that forced scene with the costumes? It's almost like it forgot to be a good standalone movie, and it was so bad that the fans didn't want to see anymore. God, this movie upsets me, but you know what? I would like to give The Amazing Spider-Man 2 the benefit of the doubt for the moment. Let's talk about the small handful of positive things that this movie actually did right. For starters, this movie is way more colorful and nice to look at rather than its predecessor. The action sequences all feel extremely vast and vibrant. The electro effects are all extremely cool, despite the disdain Jamie Foxx has for the color blue, apparently. Andrew Garfield is still fairly good as Spider-Man himself. I really don't have any complaints with his performance, and Emma Stone is trying her damnedest with what the script is giving her, which we'll get to. Sally Field is once again solid as Aunt May. The actors are all trying their hardest to make this work. If there's one thing this movie got down pat for sure, Spider-Man's suit. Huge improvement over The Amazing Spider-Man 1. It really does look like the comic book jumped hot off the presses and traced itself all over the silver screen. The blue and red colors pop a lot more. The eyepieces are nice and gigantic. Great costumes. No complaints there. Scratch that. Done. Because if you thought Spider-Man 3 with its 3 villains was a clusterfuck, well, this movie also has 3 villains. And it's all because this movie wanted to set up the Sinister Six so badly. One villain of that team is gonna be the Rhino, and he only gets 5 minutes. And they got Paul Giamatti to play him. Terribly, because you don't understand a fucking word this guy's saying. And that's just so bizarre to me, because as you know, Paul Giamatti is an excellent actor. And it's a damn shame that this is what he was relegated to in this film, because we get a lot more time with Dane DeHaan as Harry Osborn and his very slow, methodical talking. And his setup as the Green Goblin feels so contrived because of this disease that's killing him very slowly, Peter. I want to talk about forced Peter. Give me your fucking blood! Now, he was supposed to be Peter's best friend, right? He was curiously absent from the first film, which they explain is because of boarding school. Okay. But yes, apparently he's carrying the same disease as his father through hereditary genes. And this is only revealed to him while Norman, played by an underutilized Chris Cooper, is on his deathbed. And you're all aware that it took Norman 60 years for this disease to eat at him. But Harry's got no time left. He's dying. So for that reason, the stakes when he's asking Peter/Spider-Man for his blood, it just feels so forced. And then Spider-Man smartly walks away from this nonsense, and then we have a villain. Sick. Memorable enough for him to not be in No Way Home, right? And then there's Jamie Foxx as Electro, who is essentially the same exact character Jim Carrey plays in Batman Forever. You know the drill. The civilian is saved by the hero. He becomes a hyper fanboy for said hero. Something scientifically powerful deforms him, and poof, you have a supervillain. And bless Jamie Foxx's heart, I love him, but this material is not helping his case whatsoever. The electricity fixes the gap in his teeth. I'm not even joking. Look at his top teeth. It fixes the gap. Yeah, forget Invisalign. If someone's teeth get all messy, I'll recommend electric treatment. And him in the big final battle, it looks all cool, but then you hear him playing the itsy bitsy spider with the electric volts, and it just comes off so corny. Like, there's a difference between legitimately funny corny and jerkingly blatant corny. This obviously qualifies as the latter. And God bless Marvel Studios for bringing Jamie Foxx back in No Way Home. I really hope his material in that film is much better. His suit already looks much cleaner, and it really does remind me of the video game version of Electro with the yellow voltage, which I'll admit is a much cooler looking color palette for Electro. But the big thing that bothers me about this movie isn't necessarily the blatant Sinister Six setup. No, it's actually the development of Gwen Stacy. And she's going off to Oxford potentially, which drives a wedge between her and Peter. God, not again, driving a wedge between the romance. But it's not necessarily that, guys. Her intelligence, which was lauded in the original Amazing Spider-Man, yeah, that goes right out the window. That scene where Electro is terrorizing Times Square, she's grabbing onto some metal bars watching everything happen. That's your class valedictorian, my friends. Also, when she tells Peter that she wants to be there for the final battle, okay, it's not like she's Mary Jane and she actually wants to help, but that would be like if a civilian who loves this country just walked into a war zone without a firearm. All because it's their choice to be there, okay? Nobody else makes that choice for me, Peter. It's my choice. And I'm sorry, that is a magical kind of dumb, guys, from, may I remind you, the high school class valedictorian. And yes, give the movie credit for following through with the death of Gwen Stacy, and the way Andrew Garfield plays that moment is what makes it as effective as it is. But the circumstances surrounding it, of course she was gonna fall to her death. She chose to be there, remember? God, I mean, if you like this movie, to each his own. Obviously, I am very much annoyed by The Amazing Spider-Man 2, even though there are a small handful of things that they improve upon from the predecessor, and those are what ultimately save it from being a complete and total disaster on Fantastic level. But this is unfortunately the weakest Spider-Man film out there right now. I'm gonna give The Amazing Spider-Man 2 a D. I am hoping to God that No Way Home does not reach this level of mediocrity. We shall see. But this is all, of course, just my opinion. Let me know what you thought of Amazing Spider-Man 2 down in the comments section below. Is this your least favorite Spider-Man movie so far? But guys, I, of course, love creating this content despite how bad some movies may be. This is a very nice source of catharsis for me, and I really hope it is for you as well. And getting to interact with you guys really does make things all the better. But if you guys are new to the channel, don't forget to smash that subscribe button on your way out as hard as you possibly can. Number one, it's totally free to you guys, and it's not only beneficial to me, it's beneficial to you guys because you'll be the first ones to know anytime there's a new upload. And also, don't forget to smash that thumbs up button on your way out. This would be some tremendous help. And stay tuned for more exciting content hitting this channel very, very soon. Look out for my reviews for West Side Story and Don't Look Up, both of which hitting theaters this weekend. And look out for the final Spider-Man film that I have not yet reviewed in the build-up to No Way Home. We're gonna go back to the good stuff with Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. I am so excited to discuss that. But guys, y'all are the best. I cannot thank you all enough for your support so far. And with all that being said, back talk, commence.